To Marine Stadium in Miami, and let's go down to the pits again. Jim Hendrick has another report.
All right, Don, let's check with the crew chief, Jerry Furhill. Did you get the engine all flushed out from the problem you had before?
Yes, we did.
Salt water does that to this turbine?
Well, I think it just got an extra real big gulp of water this time. But we flushed it all out, and we're going to start it right away and make sure it's okay. But I think we found another little problem, too. We had a bad fuel filter, so
that'll do it.
It happens. Yeah.
Okay, thank you much. Okay, Steve Reynolds will be in action. Don, back to you.
All right, Jim, that's good. So as you watch the Squire Shop head out, here are the numbers. The Squire Shop in good shape, but the Tosti Asti, a lot of work ahead of it in order to make the final. No points for them, Executone or Team Velocity. We'll see how they fare now as Heat 2A is about to begin. The Tosti Asti now going out to join Squire Shop and Company. Nice to see that boat running now. Of course, they've had problems with the salt water here in Miami. It really can cause these turbine-powered boats. Steve Reynolds back on a full-time ride. There's Team Velocity. Scott Pierce chugging along, trying to get his Merlin engine running in that boat that is virtually all aluminum, only a couple of years old. And there's the brand new boat, the Executone, with George Johnson trying to get his engine running. Oh, no, now we've got the Tosti Asti trying to get the turbine going. And here comes the one running boat. Of course, the boat with 400 points, the Union Bay Squire Shop with Mickey Riemann coming out for 2A. Looks like the day's over for that boat, being Team Velocity, but Reynolds has the turbine going again. Hallelujah. Well, we've got a two-boat race at least, and it's going to be that way. Stack fire now for the Executone. Dousing that all right. In the meantime, we've got to start the race. Looks like it'll be a two-boat race. It'll be that man, Steve Reynolds, in the Tosti Asti, the turbine-powered boat, and it is a rocket. It's running well against the inside boat, the Union Bay Squire Shop. Mickey Riemann on the inside with the Squire Shop. Steve Reynolds on the outside. Here they come. It's a good start. Good position is the Squire Shop, the former Atlas Van Lines, the two-time national championship boat, digging in on that skid fin as he comes around the east turn now. Mickey Riemann, the oldest driver out there, 47 years old. Good positioning now on the Tosti Asti, but remember, the Tosti Asti is an incredibly fast boat when it is running well. It's not easy on this salt water, but Reynolds is doing quite well so far as they go down the back chute. Mickey Riemann, his first ride in over 6.5 years. His first cab-over design boat that he's ridden in. And look at Steve Reynolds swinging wide this time, trying to get a little whip out of that turn as he comes down wide, but it looks like Mickey Riemann has built his lead. First lap, 113 miles per hour for Mickey Riemann. And there's the Tosti Asti with those helicopter turbine engine inside, taking care of business. On the inside, nice job of driving by Mickey Runners, we might add, here in the cozy confines of Marine Stadium in Miami and Biscayne Bay. Mickey Riemann, the low profile of that boat. Steve Reynolds, the Tosti Asti. That used to be the backup boat, the display boat for the Pay 'n Pack racing team. A brand new boat, though, never touched a drop of water until it began testing in the state of Washington before coming down here. Good races. Reynolds is now moving up, I'd say about a 2-second lead maximum as they go turn now. Reynolds, though, seems to be, yes, he's slowing down. Reynolds is slowing down and is going wide. My goodness, now we've got a one-boat race. Steve Reynolds has gone dead in the water. The Tosti Asti, more problems for that salt water, for that turbine rather, and I would imagine the salt water is causing it. In the meantime, we got a cakewalk for Mickey Riemann. He just has to keep that boat alive and well as he comes into the south turn. Let's check his speeds now. He's up at 112 miles per hour. He's not letting up at all. And that 2-year-old boat, this is the 3rd year now. You might remember the first year as an Atlas Van Lines, it had a higher cowling and cockpit walls around the driver. Then they went to this type of profile with double honeycomb aluminum on both sides of the driver. It's virtually the strongest part of the boat and very safe for the driver. Steve Reynolds still trying to fire up that helicopter turbine engine. What an ominous sight as he sits there and watches his chief competitor go cruising by. Mickey Riemann coming down the main chute past the grandstands here at Marine Stadium. Everything's going Mickey's way so far, has driven brilliantly, and the boat has behaved and performed very well for crew chief Jim Harvey, who came over in the deal when Bob Stile, the owner of this boat, purchased it from Fran Muncie and Muncie Racing Industries in the Atlas Van Lines. Well, there's quite a fleet. George Johnson and Scott Pierce getting towed back into the pits. Steve Reynolds, he's given up. He'd like a tow. Oh, no. He's going to plead for it. Here comes Mickey Riemann. They've shortened the race 1 lap, it appears. It'll only be 5 laps Mickey Reeman picks up another 400 points here in Heat 2A. Steve Reynolds? Well, well, I'll give him a 6-3 on difficulty. Steve, oh, wait a minute. Now we've got a fire. It appears to be some sort of stack fire in the Squire shop. Now, Mickey Reeman has been through this many, many times. I'm sure if anybody can handle it, it'll be him. It appears to be a stack fire of some kind. He's working his way back towards the pits now. Let's see if he can douse it. The firemen have been called in the pits. Here he comes now. Let's see if the flames can be doused as he brings it in near the dock. Sometimes when they shut it off, they can. It appears he has done so. Boy, you can see the burning on the cowling right now. Quickly, let's go down to the pits. Jim Hendrick.
Bob Style, you're a little shell-shocked about fires because you've had a few explosions in your boats before.
We've had a few of them, and I don't get too
I
excited.
understand you're a little hot about something happening to the fire department?
Well, every time we have a fire, the fire department always stands around and looks at it, and our crew has always put it out. And once again, we did it again.
Well, do you think maybe perhaps they're a little afraid without orders from your crew chief?
No, the orders were given by the crew chief, and the fire started, but the boats never came, and the people never came. The crew chief definitely handles the majority of the orders on all that.
But it's going to be all right.
Very good, yeah, but luckily our crew got aboard to save it because the fire had started underneath the cowling. They took the cowling off and dumped the water. Otherwise, it could have got the fuel lines. It had some more serious problems other than that.
Close call down in here in the pits, Don, but it's okay now.
All right, Jim, adding up the points, Squire Shop sitting pretty with 800 points. The Tosti Asti, Executone, and Team Velocity still looking for their first points of the day. Let's go back down to the pits now with Jim Hendrick.
I noticed Dr. Finch just left. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just a little wet, but it feels good.
It feels good, and it's a hot day down here in Miami. Now, what happened for the second time?
Well, we're right back to the same situation. Salt water and turbines just don't mix very well. We got into a compressor stall, and it over-tipped, so I didn't have any choice but to shut it down.
You have a battle for the first lap in 3/4 and then nothing.
Yeah, you know, we were running fun. It was the first time we'd been running competitive all day long. It was a relief to get going fast.
Well, it's always next week.
Oh, yeah, next week. And, you know, don't forget the turbines. We're still back in it. There's 3 of us. Don't you piston guys go away.
Back to you, Don.
Well, Steve Reynolds is done for the day, but we're not. We'll be right back with more in a minute.